Hi guys, welcome back to Making Video Your Business. Today I'm joined by my really good friend and, for transparency, client, Guy Moreton from the incredible MorePeople. Guy, thanks so much. Can you just give me a little bit of a potted history of who is Guy Moreton?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Chris. Always lovely to see you, mate. I have a degree in horticulture, which is why I'm in the sector that we operate in. And for the first 16, 17, 18 years of my life, I sold flowers.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my claims to fame is I was one of the few people involved in the cut flower industry in the mid-80s who got the cut flower industry into supermarkets. That's one of the things I will always be very proud of. After a number of years in the sector, I fell into recruitment by accident to a certain extent. And we founded, I met my founding business partner, Peter Hunt, in 1998, 99. We were directors of a produce business. We decided to leave and set up our own business. And after a couple of attempts to buy some flower businesses, we were running out of money. I'd spent a bit of time in recruitment, and somebody asked me to recruit a role for them. And, long story very short, that's how we came up with a recruitment business. At the time, we didn't know what to call it, but our flower business was called More Flowers, and our plant business was called More Plants, and our consultancy business was called More Solutions. So More People seemed like a sensible thing to call a recruitment business. In hindsight, it was a great name because it is a brilliant recruitment name, but effectively it came from me being Guy Moreton and us being in the people industry. We decided we would be a little bit different to the norm. We wanted to build a business that was an expert in its sector and known for the quality of the service. In the late 20th century, Chris, you'll know, recruiters had a bit of a poor reputation for chasing money and not necessarily building relationships with clients for the long term. And we wanted to change that. There weren't many recruiters in the sector, and the people in the sector were telling us that they wanted to deal with somebody that knew about fresh produce at the time, or horticulture. And I suppose the rest, they say, is history. From two people in 2000, we're now 36 people as of today.
Yeah.
We've always been based in and around Stamford because it's so lovely. And right now, when we started, we were just fresh produce and the cut flower industry. Right now, it's anything in agriculture, anything in horticulture, garden and leisure, and anything in food. We cover all of those sectors.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the evolution of visuals? So when you started, and you were selling cut flowers and what have you, pre-internet, because, that's the world.
It was,
how it looked then and how it looks now.
Blimey, how long have we got? I mean, you're absolutely right. I graduated in 86, joined the flower trade in 85 as a student. And it's a very visual industry, the cut flower industry. But it was all done with catalogues, effectively, and photographs. I mean, there was no internet. I mean,
of course.
It's amazing. I mean, some of the kids that work for me now, who are in their early 20s, they cannot, and quite rightly, I can understand that they cannot appreciate what the world was like in the 80s and early 90s when we didn't have the internet, we didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have anything that today is taken for granted. So certainly visuals were all about catalogues and about photographs or real life samples. I mean, I was driving 3 times a week to Tesco head office at the time in Cheshunt, taking a bunch of flowers to show the buyer because there was no other way of showing her at the time what the flower bunch looked like unless I took it. The marketing side was unbelievable.
Different.
I mean, if I look back, I can't believe the change. Going through the last 20 years in the cut flower industry, which I'm still very close to, it's a big sector for us. But obviously, in my brain, Chris, I still think I'm a flower trader. I don't know what it is, but spending so long in that industry, I just love it. And we've got lots of friends and I say loads of clients in that sector. The change in the ability to communicate with buyers immediately with video technology to just show them a picture on your smartphone or a video on your smartphone of a bouquet being made up. Only 20 years ago, we were having to drive to a Tesco head office or any head office to show somebody a bunch of flowers because we didn't have that sort of ability. Can
you explain to our viewers and our listeners the sorts of things that now, as a modern recruitment company, you do from a visual perspective?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and mate, I know it's not a plug for you, but you've been enormously helpful on our journey. prompted, along with my co-director and co-owner, Andrew Fitzmaurice, who I know has been a guest on your podcast. He's been very influential, as you know, in the change in our business, the development in our business, but particularly in the utilisation of video technology in partnership with your very good self. It's vital for us. Let me say that now. We use it for, I mean, obviously we have a podcast, which you very kindly produce and edit for us, which is superb. And that came from us, you and I, having a discussion about how we wanted to use the video platform in a more positive way to help develop our brand over and above where it was. We've always been very proud of having a brand that centered around us being commentators on the sector. We're very proud of the fact that we are thought provokers in our industry, and we're not arrogant enough to say that you should only listen to us. We want to engage with our clients and our candidates, Chris, and develop a dialogue and for the benefit of the industry. So as you know, we've for 2 or 3 years now, maybe even longer, we've regularly held dinners.
Yeah, exec dinners.
And they've been really important for us as a way. You have been,
I've been
and
to
you
one,
were a very good guest.
Yeah.
And they're really key to us maintaining our relationships with our clients, but also being seen to be thought provokers, because we, as you know, we have a discussion around the table during the dinner on a particular topic that's pertinent and relevant to the audience at that moment in time.
What was great actually about your exec dinners is one of the key components of that is Richard Hanwell, who's your MD, really nice guy. He sort of starts off, everyone's having dinner, having a good time and everything. We'll start off with a question, and it's a talking point. So he'll start off with a talking point, something relevant to industry. And you end up with all these fantastic men and women around the table discussing something that's pertinent to industry, right? That's got no bearing on recruitment.
I mean, obviously it's deliberate and that's genuine. We, first and foremost, we have to be a good recruiter and do the job right, as anybody needs to.
We have to make good-looking videos.
And if you're selling flowers, you have to be good at selling flowers. But we were always looking for something that differentiated MorePeople in the marketplace versus some of our competitors who are really good businesses. And one of the differentiators that we were really keen to ensure that we maintained was our expertise in the sector. So myself and Peter, when we started day one, we both had spent most of our careers in the cut flower and fresh produce industry. So clients empathised with us, and they knew that we genuinely cared about the sector because we'd worked in it. And for the first 10 years of MorePeople, I maintained absolutely that we needed to only take on people that had worked in the sector. In fact, Andy was the first person that we employed that didn't have a background in the sector, and I nearly didn't take him on. At the time, we genuinely wanted the people in our team to have had a background in produce, in meat, in flowers, in horticulture, in whatever it was. And our team at that time, of probably about 8 or 9 of us, all of us, bar the admin person, had a background in the sector that we recruited. That was part of our scenarios. We're business people in recruitment, not recruiters in business. That was part of our premise. And Andy persuaded me that we couldn't grow our business long-term and big based on that scenario only, and that we had to have a balance. As we developed our team away from being core experts in the sector, Chris, we needed, Peter and I and Andy were thinking about how we maintained our position as thought leaders, thought provokers, and being seen by our clients as experts. And so we had our first ever dinner probably 8 or 9 years ago, centered around the fact that from our perspective, getting experts in a room and us starting them, getting them to think about current relevant business things, matters, and us being seen to lead that in some way, or at least help facilitate that put us up there as in people's minds as even if we're not experts, we're caring about the sector genuinely. So naturally, as we start to develop our business and start to think about ways and means to accentuate our differential, and that we're experts in that sector, it also seemed logical to me that business people might be happy to attend a dinner where there are like-minded individuals who all have the same challenges but in different sectors, and over a really nice dinner and a really convivial conversation, we could maybe start to discuss some points and bring out some things that we know the people who want to talk to us about, and just get them chatting about it. And it's been so successful, as you know, you've been on one. That we've now, we don't know, I can't remember, it's 40 or 50 in a row at the moment. We've been running them every month since COVID, and we have no plans to change that. If anything, we've not got through anywhere near. I mean, we have about 1,000 clients over the last 24 years that have dealt with us, and probably only a couple of hundred of those have been on one of our dinners, maybe more, but not that many. And so we still have plenty of people to invite.
So in terms of a more visual strategy, have you found it difficult? Have you found actually adding visuals, video content and stuff into your business difficult?
A great question. I mean, I think one of the issues would have been a Neanderthal like me, perhaps, who's grown up in the 80s and 90s and was perhaps a little bit slower to embrace video technology than other people. I mean, I hate to see myself on video because we didn't grow up with it. It's a bit more alien, and therefore I wasn't a dinosaur and against it. But I suppose it took Andy, who's younger and has grown up with the technology, and he's really on board with the benefits to drive it from that perspective. So I've been a passenger rather than the pioneer driver from a video technology perspective in our business. However, I'd like to think I'm very astute, and I want to continually improve our business and the way that we engage with our clients and candidates. And I'm also astute and bright enough to know that most of the people we speak to are not my generation. Most of our team are in their 20s, and a lot of our candidates are in their 20s. And we're talking to clients. Yes, the MDs, similar sort of age and maturity to myself, but their teams are next generation down, which is why it was so important to have Andy and Rich and our leaders the next generation down. And in fact, we're now seeing the next generation below, the 20 to 30-year-olds coming through. And those people have grown up with video technology. They've grown up with Facebook and videos and filming themselves and chatting to their mates on video technology. My kids, they've grown up with communicating with their friends via video. So I whinge at them that they're talking to a mate of theirs who lives 400 yards away and they're chatting on over video technology. I'd like to think that I'm astute enough to recognize that it's not about me. It's about our candidates and clients and our team and how they want to interact. So I think from your perspective, and I think you should recognize this, I was a pretty easy sell because I'd already sussed out the need to embrace modern mechanisms to get in touch with modern thinking, younger, the future workforce, or the current workforce and an ongoing future workforce, rather than the people that are retiring and at my generation and still reasonably technically astute, but perhaps less inclined to go on a video call. This is a much easier. I mean, you've known me a long time. The first time I did a video interview with you, and it was only me, you, and Toby, like it is now. I was petrified. I was shaking, and I was scared of making a mistake, which is crazy because it's not live. Therefore, we just re-record it. But I was very worried and very nervous. Less so now.
So, what do you think you've seen as a result of it? What do you think have been the benefits of being a more visual business?
I think the first thing is why we've kept doing it is, and you and I have talked about this often, is anything. Business is nothing if it's not consistent. People like to deal with people who are consistent. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing, some level of consistency is important. So when we made a commitment to do our podcast, it was important that we signed up for an appreciable period of time and gave it plenty of opportunity to be successful or not, as the case may be. I mean, it's been fantastically successful, as you know, and we are delighted with the response that we're getting, and are committed to carrying on. But I think it was important that when we committed to doing something with you, we committed to doing it for a appreciable period of time, so that we could benchmark what we're doing, analyse results. But I think also we know, because again, we've chatted about it even today, that we need to, the first 2 or 3 editions are not going to be watched by as many people as the 25th or 26th that we're on now, because we've been marketing it consistently and very heavily, and therefore lots of people that didn't know we did it are now getting it to know that we're doing it. And so we're now trying to, with your support, go back over some of the previous editions that were excellent, that weren't watched by as many people as are now subscribing to our little channel on YouTube and watching them regularly, irrespective of who's on there. So I think that's the first point. Consistency is really important.
There's cross-pollination going on there as well, isn't there? People using the content themselves.
Yes, we've got a couple of clients that have asked for our permission to put the interview with their CEO on their website. The Horticultural Trades Association, we filmed their chief exec and their new president as part of the podcast, and releasing our content to the world at a similar time to when they started to announce their conference. And so we gave them the opportunity in our podcast to talk about the conference, knowing full well that they would use our podcast and our video to help support their own.
Yes.
Well, that's fantastic when a client, because they are a client, as well as being a trade association that we're a member of, so we're quite close to them and very supportive of what they're doing. You know, we're there helping promote their conference, and we're being seen by the industry to be supporting them. That has to get us some brownie points with other members, all of which, of course, are clients or potential clients of ours. We've got a phenomenal marketing manager, Natalie Smith. I have to mention her because she'd be upset if I didn't mention her. But actually, she is phenomenal, and we're really, really pleased with what Nat has done and how she's embraced this video technology as well. That marketing commitment that we make by having our own individual team, and for a business our size, that's quite a commitment, has been fantastic. But if Nat wasn't there, you know, I don't know what would happen or who would take the responsibility, because it's really important that then you get the edited outstanding videos out there. And as you know, again, with your guidance and your support, we talk to you very openly about because you're the expert. We listen to experts all the time. You know, we want people to listen to us about recruitment and people. So it's absolutely right that we listen to experts similarly. A lot of our team, particularly the team leaders and the associate directors and the people who've been with us a while, you know, they're becoming experts in their function and possibly even in their sector. I think our team would recognise that we do a lot to support the team's activities in the sectors, because we want our team to be known with their peers as experts. So it's been a really good opportunity to get our team not only a bit of experience in the art of communicating in this way. Obviously, most of them are young, therefore they're way ahead of somebody like me, but get them more comfortable in the interview scenario like this, but also being able to again promote the fact that they have a voice, not only a voice in our business, and we care about that, but a voice in the sector, and we think that they will have something that people will want to hear.
It also puts a face to a name, you know, 100%. Because your business is a people business. I know more people, but it's a people business, and it's really important that if they can see someone visually, it showcases their expertise on your podcast when they're dealing with that recruiter within your business. They go, oh, I've seen Natalie, or I've seen David, I've seen Daniel, I've seen, you know, Cherie. Right? Absolutely. And it allows them to know more, feel like they know them better, you know, and allows that rapport to build.
Yeah, 100%. And I think from an internal brand perspective, it helps the people that are involved in the podcasts. They not necessarily deliberately, but certainly their gravitas and their credibility in our own team will be raised by them being involved in the podcast, because you know, it's a recognition that we are pleased and serious enough about them as individuals to allow them to be showcased as part of our business. And we're very, very you know, we want all of our team, you know, I want everybody involved in our business to be good enough and important enough to us as business leaders to involve them in this sort of thing. I mean, if we're allowing our team to speak to candidates and clients, then of course we should let them and have trust in them, at their ability to do this sort of stuff. And they're only going to get better at it if they get the opportunity and get practice and so on and so forth.
What are Guy Moreton's top 3 tips to getting going with visuals?
So I think the first one is consistency. If you're going to do do it regularly. The only way to get data to analyze success is to do it regularly. But it will take time for the audience. Like everything, it takes time for an audience to become aware that this is happening regularly. Point two, it is great value for money. Yes, it costs money because but I'm a massive advocate. There's a massive difference between cost and value. It really drives me nuts when people say this is too expensive, because how do they know it's too expensive if they've not analysed the potential results? And there's an element of trust and an element of a leap of faith to a certain extent
there is,
when engaging in it, because obviously you aren't paying day one and we don't know what the results will be. You said earlier you could do it yourself.
You can.
But you need to be well geared up. You need to have the kit that, you've got some wonderful kit. And if you were going to buy the kit to do it yourselves, you'd end up probably spending as much money as asking a professional like you to do it, because it's not just about this, it's about the editing, because you could do a brilliant film and edit it poorly. And we're not, we're recruiters, and I'm very proud of the fact that we're experts in our sector and we're experts at helping our clients and candidates engage. That's our job. We are not video producers. We're not video editors. And, our clients come to us as experts in recruitment, and that's what we do. We don't get upset if they recruit themselves, but we're there to support, and we have to be better than them. And I take the same premise with my good friend, Chris England, and your wonderful business is you're going to always be better at this than I am. I've never had a cause to doubt the quality of service and quality of product to get from you. But of course, I expect it to be good.
2 final questions, a couple of fun ones. Have you got a favourite film?
I am a massive fan of gangster and mafia movies.
Do you have a favourite?
Goodfellas is amazing, and I'm a massive, massive fan, particularly the walkthrough where Henry walks through with the new girlfriend and gets the table of his choice and walks through the kitchen and everybody high fives and he drops. I just love that bit. And obviously The Godfather, 1 and 2, 3 shit, but 1 and 2 are outstanding. So anything with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, I mean, from old fashioned from that perspective, I love those sorts of movies. I have to say my favourite movie of all time is Last of the Mohicans. The music, the score, the
cinematography.
Thank you very much for that.
I've not watched it for years. So I'm going to rewatch it now.
The story, the pace that it moves, the emotion attached to it. I just think it's an amazing film.
Brilliant. Great recommendation. And are you watching any series at the minute? Is there anything like a box set that you really like? Because we like to get a recommendation for a funky series.
Well, that's really interesting. We've just literally finished watching Joan, and it's a true story, apparently, from a book. And it's about how she has had a rough upbringing, but she resorts to proper criminality in terms of stealing jewels and things in order to try and keep her daughter. She has to put her daughter in care because of various circumstances, and it's how she tries to get her daughter back. Some really good characters. Brilliant. And a true story. I like a true story because I think you can get a real handle on true stories. Anything that's true is just has that extra dimension that it's happened, and how cool is life, or how bad is life? I mean, and how cruel is life sometimes.
Guy, thank you so much for taking the time to come and see me. It's been brilliant to talk to you. Thanks for giving me your expertise and your, I guess, I don't want to say wisdom because it makes you seem old, but the wisdom, and thanks for saying nice things about us. Oh, mate, it's a pleasure. It's easy to say some nice things about you because you're such a nice bloke. Thanks. But it has been lovely. Thank you for inviting me. Cheers, mate.